how many steps in the generalized additive manufacturing process. So if you remember the diagram, the answer to that was 8. Answer was C. Somebody said yes or no? Somebody, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Question 2. Major difference between continuous light interface, the clip process, and the DLP process. The answer to that was B. It uses an oxygen permeable window. Okay. The other ones are actually more, well, A and C are the same with both processes, and D, we had a bit of a discussion about that. Yes, the clip process is faster, but that's not what they can actually slow. They're actually now slowing the process down in preference. So some people might have put D, but that was not right because it's not the major difference. Question 3, what the following is not an ISO standard definition? The answer to that is A. It's not, so material extrusion, not melt extrusion. So the other 3 are in the definitions. Question number 4, major difference between the HP MJF system and the SLS system, because they're somewhat similar and they use powders, etc. The major difference between that one is C, because with the other ones you can basically get pretty much the same range of powders, you get pretty much the same strength, and SLS cannot directly produce metal, as you've seen already today in my presentation. So you can put metal into the part but not actually process metal as such. So so the answer is C. Multicolor parts cannot be done in an SLS machine. Oh, you got it wrong, did you? So you're talking about B. MJF can produce higher strength polymer parts than SLS. There's no real evidence of that. The thing is more than the choice of the polymer rather than the actual process. So there are some stronger parts that are claimed to be stronger in MJF. There's not a huge amount of sort of independent verification of that, and yeah. So yeah. So unfortunately, I would say that's not right. So where am I? Number 5. Which of the following technologies is least suitable for creating medical models? So I basically said D, because laser scanning, you don't want to shine lasers in people's eyes, basically. 6 rather. Which of the following is least likely to happen? And the answer to that one, use of MRI to determine if a pacemaker is functioning correctly. As we know, MRI has got really big magnets in there. If you put somebody with a pacemaker in there, they probably come out as a yeah. Right. Oh.
Yes.
Ooh. Right. So he was killed by the oxygen cylinder.
Yes.
Wow. Gosh. Yeah. I mean, those magnets are really, really powerful. Okay. Number 7. Assuming that Invisalign averages 16 parts for every medical case, approximately how many parts per day would they produce? So the answer to that is C, 50,000. Yeah, so some of you might have gone for a... So we're not quite at the 500,000, and we're better than the 10,000. Okay? I didn't really say that in the presentation, I know. you know, you might have had to sort of do a little bit of deduction from the numbers there to work that one out. Question 8, which of these does not result in a fully metal AM part? Well, that's the wind form process. Yeah, so again from just the last lecture, so you should know that now, so that's A. 9, which of the following is not true about metal AM, which when compared to conventional casting? That one is we mentioned a couple of days ago, in fact, that's A as well. Conventional casting actually generally results in much poorer, or much higher porosity. You do get porosity in metal AM, so that is it does happen, but the amount of porosity is actually quite low. Aerospace would still think it's not low enough, and there are, when I say conventional casting, there are some very high precision casting methods and very highly controlled casting methods. That's not what I was referring to. Question 10, which of the following alloys is not used for medical implants? Well, that's Inconel, as far as I'm aware anyway. I don't think Inconel would make a very good implantable material. The other ones we know, yeah, so nickel is, yeah, probably not very nice for. Which of the following is not a bioprinting approach? That is B. It's actually just a word that I made up. I don't know if there is such a word as androidization, but it sounded pretty cool. But as far as I'm aware, it's not a bioprinting approach, okay? And the other three I mentioned yesterday. 12, which of the following is not critical impediment to development of suitable tissue structures? That is the most critical, sorry. That was fluid viscosity. Which again I mentioned yesterday. I singled that out as being a big problem. 13, which of the following is not considered to be a bioceramic? And the answer was A. Magnesium diboride, as far as I'm aware, and again I didn't cover that, so that might have been a bit of trouble for some people. But you could probably do that by elimination, because we definitely covered calcium phosphate, alumina, and hydroxyapatite as all being implanted materials. So it should have been quite easy to work that one out. 14, which of the following is least true? Least. Okay, so they're all effectively true about bioprinters, and the one that I said is that they accept STL files as the main file format, because a lot of printers actually don't. Bioprinters, they basically just have very simple lattice structure designs in there. So that might be the hardest question to answer. Did anybody answer anything different? Answer D? You don't want to admit it? Okay. All right, 15, when a surgeon requests a medical model for a patient, what is least likely application for such a model? Well, that's actually implantation, because the other ones are probably going to happen with almost all of the models. You want to communicate with it, you want to plan with it, you want to reference it, but only in certain cases do you actually design an implant. 16, STL is an acronym that can have numerous expansions. In the context of 3D printing, which is the following is not likely. I'm pretty sure you probably worked that one out. STL does not stand for Standard Template Library. Actually, it does, because if you look up STL and Google it, you'll find Standard Template Library, but it's not anything to do with 3D printing. Okay, so all the other ones are possible explanations. What they sometimes refer to this is they call STL a backronym, because actually STL didn't have a proper name. The people in 3D systems wanted to call it stereolithography tessellation language, but then nobody else did. because they don't do stereolithography. So a lot of people adopted the same STL and called it standard triangulation or standard tessellation languages. 17, the company Materialize is famous for which medical modeling software? Well, that's 3matic. I put that in rather than Mimics because probably everybody thinks, oh yeah, Mimics. Maybe some people forgot that it also does 3matic. 18, which of the following best describes the process of distraction osteogenesis? Well, the best description is description B, the use of a screw device. None of the others say screw device. And basically, distraction is to cause a gap to open. So that's the process. Number 19, Mimics is a software that can be used for what? It can be used for all of the above. I guess that was an easy one as well. By the time I got to question 19, I was getting bored. Okay, so, and then the last one, DICOM, is what? It is a standard format, data format for medical scanners. I can't remember what it's called again. Data interchange for something, blah, blah, blah. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, excellent. All right. So did anybody not get 20 out of 20? One or two, but not very many. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, what do we do now? Okay?
Yeah.
Are you still happy with me? Do you want your feedback forms back now?
Okay, then we'll break for the lunch, and after completing the lunch, we'll start the certificate distribution, right? Yeah. Yep.